political ideology. That political ideology that is under attack is Americanism. You mean it's not capitalism, it's not conservatism, it's not republicanism? No, it's not. Cultural Marxists have completely taken over the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party of today is not the Democrat Party of your father and grandfather. There are no more Reagan Democrats. There are no more Kennedy Democrats. They may think that's when they began to be a Democrat. But what has happened since then is that party has been twisted and manipulated to where it is nothing more than the American Communist Party, the American Cultural Marxist Party. And this is why Hillary Clinton's calls for actors to appear at her little staged events never require white men. Not unless they have pink hair and bones to their noses and dog tails grafted to their asses while they walk around with a rolled set of quarters clenched between their buttocks. Those are the only white males that Hillary Clinton finds necessary, because those are the only white males that cultural Marxism finds necessary. The Democrat of old, the Roosevelt Democrat, the Kennedy Democrat, they no longer exist because even they have been pushed to the very, very back of the party, forced to live on a single mosaic tile in the great floorwork of democracy. They don't matter. What matters is angry lying women, angry lying blacks, and angry dismissive homosexuals. No one else matters. No one else matters. So what is under attack is Americanism, not either of America's political ideologies. How do you sit there and tolerate this? Are you picking at your armband? You know that Hillary Clinton lied. She lied on every news outlet. She's lied in every speech, in every statement, in every appearance. Everything has been a lie. Not only has her every statement been a lie, but even the Bernie versus Hillary tete-a-tete was a complete fraud. As now we've seen with the DNC leaks emails, that the DNC conspired against Bernie Sanders, conspired against every American citizen that would have voted for anyone other than Hillary Clinton. Conspiracy against rights, well, we all know that's a crime. And yet, the media says nothing, just like they would not have said anything in Nazi Germany or Stalinist Russia. The political parties say nothing, just like they would not have in Nazi Germany or Stalinist Russia. And most important, you say nothing, just like you would not have in Nazi Germany or Stalinist Russia. Oh my. The government and the media and you, the people, have now gone very wobbly and very left and become very dangerous. That's right, very dangerous. Here's why it's dangerous. You recall, while we also learned as children and grandchildren how this sickness overtook Europe and overtook Russian Asia, how it was our grandfathers and our fathers who sacrificed themselves, along with our uncles, to liberate people who were put in those train cars and forced into those work camps. That way, all of Europa did not become this. And yet here you are, voting for individuals that will assure this. You're voting for individuals that will assure the removal of your rights. You're voting for individuals that will assure the removal of your way of life, your finances. You're voting for people who live with a different set of laws than you. Bad enough that you live with judges, but now you live with politicians who are no longer accountable. Unlike Nixon, you remember how angry you were at old Tricky Dick all those years? You lefties and you righties. he erased 18 minutes of tape. It was not really the lie, it was the cover-up. Well, the cover-up that has involved over 30,000 emails, that has involved 4 dead Navy SEALs and 1 dead United States ambassador, the cover-up that has involved the transfer and removal and silencing of almost 300 federal employees, that's one hell of a cover-up. We know what they're covering up. They're covering up their illegal arms deal.
Hillary Clinton's emails, her secret emails, but there may be even more to the story now than we knew before. All rise, Judge Andrew Napolitano is with us. And Judge, you have an article out today that connects some very interesting and disturbing dots.
Yes. You know, we work in teams here and in groups, and I'm part of a number of groups, and in working in tandem with Pam Brown, who is the senior executive producer, and Catherine Herridge, who's the intelligence correspondent, I was asked to look at documents. The documents that I reviewed was about 500-600 pages, and they consisted of interviews of an arms dealer and emails from the arms dealer to members of Congress and back and forth, and the arms dealer and the State Department and back and forth. And I am convinced, as are others who have looked at this, and Fox aired this on an FBN special on Saturday night and several times over the weekend, that a conspiracy existed between the President, Mrs. Clinton, and congressional leaders from both parties and both houses, others in the State Department, the Treasury Department, and the Justice Department, to get arms shipped to rebels in Syria and in Libya. And some of those rebels are members of organizations that are on the terror list, and providing them with material assistance is a felony. So the arms dealers applied for and received permission from state and treasury lawfully to sell arms to the government of Qatar, and they lawfully did so. Qatar then sold, delivered, bartered, or gave these arms to the terrorist organizations with the knowledge and consent of Hillary Rodham Clinton when she was Secretary of
Qatar
State.
being the middleman / country here, would that mitigate or even dismiss any sort of allegations that members of Congress, the President, Hillary Clinton, and so forth, had any knowledge or any culpability that they were then moved on from Qatar? In other words, these guys are in the middle.
Absolutely not. It is crystal clear from the documents that we viewed, and which we explained in the FBN special last weekend, that only about a dozen, maybe a fewer than a dozen members of Congress, plus Mrs. Clinton and the President and a few people around each of them knew this, but they knew exactly where this was going. How does this unravel? Chris Stevens, the American ambassador to Libya, is assassinated using American weaponry that Mrs. Clinton illegally sold to terrorists in violation of American law.
The terrorists who received these weapons, why were they deemed to be okay? Even though officially we said, no, these are bad guys, why would they unofficially be deemed to be okay to get these weapons?
I honestly think that, again, from the emails that we saw, we didn't see all of them. God knows where all of her emails are. I think that she probably thought that she could wage a private war and overthrow Gaddafi. She succeeded in doing that, but of course created chaos. Overthrow Assad in Syria and take credit for it. This has been an unmitigated disaster, and she's done her best to cover it up, and she's covered a lot of it up, but now it's starting to come out.
Before I let you go, is there any money angle to this? Because you talk about an arms dealer.
Money angle in the billions with a B. Sold.
Personal gains to any of the Americans involved?
Yes.
Judge,
yes.
This is really...
including a former member of Congress and his wife.
10 U.S. Code 904, aiding the enemy. That's right. Hillary Clinton, the Democrats, the Obama White House, and select Republicans aided the enemy by providing them arms, by providing them comfort, by providing them intelligence and finances, and a means to play the most pathetic version of the art of war anyone who knows what they're doing has ever seen. See, when you want to engage in the art of war, people, you must understand it, and it shouldn't come right back to you the way it blew back and was exposed in Hillary Clinton's face within hours of the 9/11 2012 attack on the American base. But you don't care. You're a true believer. None of it matters as long as the vision is true, right? You're with her because she has a vagina. And that means what? That's benefited America? When? That's benefited any person. When? America's in therapy because of mama. There isn't a woman who comes home that doesn't despise her female boss, that doesn't despise her female coworker. There isn't a high school student who comes home that doesn't despise the most popular girl in her class, that doesn't despise her own best friend. Every divorced family. You males all know what I'm talking about, right? Every one of you who has been dumped by a ridiculous girlfriend. You're going to vote for a woman to lead a nation? We all know that women lead their lives and the lives of those around them by caprice. Whimsy. A butterfly flew by this way. Let's follow it. And this is how we run a nation? I'm going to ignore the laws because I can. I'm a girl. Okay. Thelma and Louise nation. Is that what it is? Have you all been so dumbed down by the single mother households that dot the landscape like teenage acne? This has never been acceptable. This has never been a successful way to run a society. You have thousands of years of societies, and you'd count on a hand or two all of the notable female rulers. Now, keep in mind those female rulers usually became female rulers by some sort of blood right. A male had established a kingdom somewhere along the line, and then the female did come along. To go back to true female accomplishment, we need to go back to the Iceni people. We need to go back to the Elizabethan era. We need to go back to the Bronze Age, not the modern age. Not the modern age where an individual, again, who could not pass the bar exam except for in Arkansas. And now we know how all you people who have passed the bar exam are so elitist that you look down on all the other schools that aren't your school, and you look up to the other schools that little wince in your eyes that you didn't get into. Okay, because you don't truly believe in equality. They teach law better here than they teach law better there. E equals MC squared is different in this school than it is in this school. Right. You don't believe in equality yourselves, so there is a spectrum. So we all know that on the legal spectrum of things, Hillary's Arkansas bar is a joke compared to your New York State bar, or your Washington, D.C. bar, or the Illinois bar, the New York City bar, the California bar, any state other than what is known as the most illiterate state in all of America. The only bar that your hopeful leader could pass. Truly an elitist, isn't she? Truly special, this one is. But you're supporting her the same way the nation of Germany supported a little fella with a book and a mustache. Their friends and neighbors didn't matter anyway. Don't tell me that all those Germans hated Jews, had reason to hate Jews, had reasons to hate gypsies. They didn't. The same reason you have no reason to hate Republicans, the same way you have no reason to hate whites, the same way you have no reason to hate heterosexual males. But do. But prejudice, but racism, but Jim Crow. Again, the Jim Crow, who you don't know who Jim Crow was, like Barack Obama has no clue. That was all put in by that very same ideology that 50% of you support. And that same 50% of you that support that ideology don't like those of us who stand in opposition to that ideology. The only reason there's no more Jim Crow